welcome, and thank you for sharing the live. Thank you for follow. Because most people try to build wealth, but they build it the wrong way, right? So let's talk about the right order. Yeah, you should build wealth. That's going to help you. Oh, finally, I get my four eyes. Awesome, awesome. So most people are trying to build wealth, but they get to do it the wrong way, right? They do it the wrong way. They do it the wrong order. They go ahead investing, then instead of them fixing their finances. What do we mean by fixing their finances? Well, that's what we want to talk about. Fix your finances before investing. Investing in cash flowing assets is going to help you build wealth. It's going to give you that financial freedom that you need. Remember, financial freedom is the goal. All right, financial freedom is the goal, and for you to achieve financial freedom, you want to ensure that you are doing everything the right way. You're doing everything absolutely the right way. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for sharing the live. And we are talking about the right way to build wealth. That's what we're talking about, the right order to build wealth. That is what we're talking about today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's go straight into it. Let me show you the exact order that actually works. So the first thing, let's like this. All right. All right. So the first thing is, in terms of the wealth order, the first thing first is, step one is your income. I always say that everything starts with your income first, then every other thing will be second. Except you want a jackpot, you want a lottery, your every other thing starts with your income first, right? Every other thing starts with income. So except you want lottery, or except you won the lottery, or except you have a generational wealth, like your parents, you're a trust kid, like people call them. Your parents sent you, gave you some money. Most of the time, oftentimes your wealth comes from your income. It starts with your income. So we're talking about the exact order to build wealth, right? That is what we're talking about today, so that you can utilize it up. Because a lot of people, you make money and you like, you know what, I'm doing this thing, but it doesn't look like it's working. You're not building wealth. You are making money, you are investing, but it just seems like it's not working. It's because you are not following the right order, right? So the first thing is that you fix your foundation, and you definitely, before you start investing, I love you, girl. Yo, girl, how are you? Stay blessed too. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, if you haven't followed, you want to do that, because we talk about everything about your investing, everything about your health wealth, your peace wealth, your time wealth, your money wealth. That's what we talk about. Today we are talking about the exact order that will help you build wealth, because you might be earning good income, and you realize that, you know what, I'm not building wealth, right? And that's what we really want to talk about today, okay? But that's what we want to talk about, the exact order you follow, because this order is going to work for you, lasting well. All right. So the first thing, except you got an inheritance or you want a jackpot, everything starts with your income. So you got a skill, went to school, you got a skill, and from there you got a job, right? And then you start having income. That is your first step of building wealth, right? Your first step. Then I want you to have, and that's why I always say, your income stability. So ensure that you have that skill set. Ensure that you are you're giving it your best, right? Such that you ensure that you're giving it your best. Ensure that because income will fund everything for you. That is going to be it's going to be a wealth tool, right? It will be your wealth tool, right? So increase your income. Look for avenues to get your income increase. How do you do this? I always talk about two things. Number one, which worked for me in the past, is not going back to college to go and get another college loan to get another college degree. That's not what I do. I tell you, go take a certification, or take another or take a training. There's some training on Coursera. There are free training on Coursera. There's free training on Harvard Business School that you can actually take, that you would start building, and you from there you can get your income increase. You can actually start increasing your income through that way. 13 years ago, I actually pivoted from finance to technology 13 years ago, and I was able to increase my income doing the same thing on the technology side versus the finance side. I increased my income by $30,000. And I did not go back to college. It took me from the beginning to the end, from the time when I took the decision to the time when I got the job change and increased my income. It took literally 5 months. So I always say this: you don't have to go back to college, but always look for avenue to increase your income. So welcome everyone, the 17 people that just joined. We're talking about how to the right order to build wealth. That's what we're talking about. If you haven't subscribed, do that. You don't have any reason not to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, because you have all of the good things that you're going to be learning, right? Because today we're talking about the right order to build wealth. So start with your income. Income is the first thing. Increase your income, not by going back to college, but you can actually take certification. You can get free certificate free training on Coursera, Google Coursera. You can get on Harvard Business School. You'll be so amazed. And you can get some certification that is less than under $1,000, and you will be able to increase your income by thousands of dollars, like tens of thousands. And you'll be so amazed. Think about return on investment. Those are strategies you can actually use to increase your income right there. Then the second thing that you can also do is supplement your income. What does this mean? You have your income right now. Let's assume that you earn $70,000, but then you want to increase your income to a six-figure state, right? What should you do? You can decide, if you're not going the skill route, you can actually decide to supplement your income. You can get additional streams of income. I always encourage that, because this really helps you to get additional source of income, such that if one income is out of the way, you still have some other. But in this case, it's for you to increase your income and supplement your income. So how do you do this? So you can do things like rental arbitrage, where you rent a place and you put it on medium and short-term rentals. That helps you to supplement your income. You can rent your car on Toro, right? Something that is just simple, that you're not going out of your way. It doesn't require a lot of capital. Right there, you can do that. You can sell on Titi Shop. You can actually sell books. You can do what I'm doing right now at your own leisure, at your own time, and you would just basically get additional income. The goal is not that you are leaving your main job. The goal is you are just looking for ways to increase your income from where it is to additional income, because we're talking about the exact order to build wealth. And that's number one, because it starts with your income stability, right? Job plus skills, right? Then the other thing, like I said, number one is the job plus skills. Number two is the side income, which is you supplementing your income. Income is the engine of your wealth. Always think about it. It starts with your income. If your income is here and you keep your expense, you do not allow lifestyle inflation, right? What you would realize is that you see this gap that you see here. So this is income here, this is expense here. This gap that you see, that is your wealth right here. That is your wealth. If your income is here and your expense is here, your wealth margin is very, very limited. It's very narrow, right? So always think about it. You want, the wider it is, your chance, the increase in your chances of building wealth. So just look at it that way. That's why your income is very important. And if you're just meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Lina. I'm a doctor of business and technology. I help professionals build wealth the right way. I built double-digit real estate portfolio. I've been investing for over a decade. over close to 2 decades, and I just help others just to learn the same thing so that they can build wealth the right way. Okay, especially if you're a professional and you feel stuck, that's exactly what I teach here. So the right way to build wealth. One is your income. That's what we just talked about. Income will be your wealth engine at it, and basically is your foundation. The next thing is your emergency fund. And this is where people get it wrong. Number two and three is where people get it wrong. People just get the income and they jump straight to investing, right? Because they feel that, oh, you know what? Everybody's talking about investing on social media, so I need to start investing right now. You're getting it wrong. The second thing you want to do as soon as you have your income is to ensure that you have your emergency fund. What does emergency fund mean? Emergency fund simply means your safety net in case there's that, as it speaks, in case there's an emergency, there's a job loss, there's health issues, there is a major car repair, anything can happen. This is life and life, right? But it's going to protect you. Why is this very, very important, even beyond investing? The reason why it's important is because you realize that in a situation when there's an actual emergency, you do not go into debt. A lot of people, because they don't make provisions for emergency funds, what happened when emergencies actually happen, then they actually go into debt. Thank you for tapping out the live. Thank you for liking the live. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for subscribing on the YouTube side as well. So when life is life, they end up in debt. And then instead of them to, let it be a lower moment, right? A reset, right? It becomes something that actually takes them all the way down, right? So that's why the emergency fund is very important. So when you have your income, make sure that you have your emergency. And what is an emergency fund? Emergency fund simply is four things, right? It's just your basic expenses. Remember, basic needs, right? Not wants, right? I call it the four things. What are those four things? Number one is your housing, right? Hey, Sister Vera, welcome. And everyone, thank you so much for tapping out the live. If you can tap it all the way to 10,000, that would be great. And thank you for all for sharing the live and inviting your friend, reposting and all of that. So we're talking about how to build wealth the right way. Income is the first. Now we are talking about number two that a lot of people skip and get wrong, which is emergency fund. So now your emergency fund is four things. Number one is your housing, right? Roof over your head is absolutely important. Number two is your grocery feeding. You want to eat, you want to take care of your family, diapers and all of that, groceries in general. That's number two. Number three is hot water, utilities, light, and all of what keeps you alive, right? That is number three when we are talking about things that are basic needs of life. And number four is transportation, because you want transportation from one place to the other, from home to get to that job that's going to give you that income. Those are the four basic things. If you see, I'm not talking about the purse, I'm not going talking about the shoes. At this point, those are not important. The four things: your transportation, your feeding, your housing, and of course utilities. Those are the four basic needs. So you want to have this as a form of that's your emergency fund that you have right there. You first of all start with you have your income. Let's assume that you just started today. You started your job today, and you never have an emergency fund at all. The first thing you want to do is build for 1 month. 1 month emergency fund for those four things, right? All of those bills. And where do you put it? You put it in an high yield savings account. What a high yield savings account is just your regular bank account, but the only difference is that the regular bank account, these bank accounts will give you 3 to 5% instead of your Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo that gives you 0.01%. I mean, that's what I get. Let me know in the comments if you get anything higher, or what does your Bank of America, Chase, or Wells Fargo, what you get from them. And thank you all for tapping out the live. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the follow. All right. So understand that you put it in an IU savings account. And what are the just example of IU savings account? Capital One will give you 3.3%. Vero will give you 5%. SoFi will give you about 4%. And there's so many of them. There's Marcos, or basically just go online and search the best high yield savings account in April 2026. By the way, today is April the 15th. If you haven't filed your taxes, make sure that it's either you file an extension or you make sure you get it done tonight if you're in the United States. So you don't want to get into trouble with that. So just a quick reminder for my people. All right, so high yield savings account, it's basically those accounts that is going to return between 3 to 5%. In short, at times you get up to 6%. What does this mean? 3 to 5% on your $10,000. That is $300 a year, which you get monthly, right? That's what you get. That $300 is something versus what if you put it in your Bank of America, Chase or Wells Fargo, you get $1 on the same $10,000. Okay, so but what sort of money do you put there? Your emergency fund. Start with 1 month, then you are going to grow it to 3 months to 6 months of your basic need, your housing, your rent, your housing, your utilities, your groceries, and of course your transportation offered for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. That's how you build it, so that in a case of an emergency, your family is protected for that period of time while you get yourself back on your feet and you move on as if nothing happened. Okay, instead of going into debt or going further into debt. So this particular part is what people actually get wrong. 3 to 6 months is prevent you from going into that. Before you grow money, you need to protect it. So this is the protection layer, and this is where people get it wrong. Wemi, welcome. This is the protection layer, and everyone that is here, welcome, welcome. Either on YouTube or on TikTok, and subscribe if you haven't. Follow if you haven't. AC, Wemi, Bayo, Cecilia, all of you, welcome, welcome here, and Sister Vera, welcome as well. So basically, this part is where people miss, right? Number 2 and number 3. We're talking about how to build wealth the right way, the right order to build wealth. Thank you all for all of the likes. Thank you all for tapping out the live, sharing with friends and families. Let's tap it out. Let's share with friends and family. Let's keep tapping. And as we talk about how to build wealth the right order. Income is the first. We are on number 2, emergency fund, which you, for 3 to 6 months, which you put in an high yield savings account. Okay, then number 3 is the other one people do the wrong way. This one, right, it's even the biggest, and it is the debt payoff. A lot of time people jump from I get my income, I'm making money, and they jump straight into investing. For the people that even very smart and knowledgeable about investing with high financial literacy, they still make this mistake that I just mentioned. They still make this mistake, right? But emergency, then after emergency fund, build 1 month, then you go straight into what is called your debt payoff. Let's assume that you have debt. I mean, some people would skip this level because if you don't have debt, of course, definitely you'd skip this level. But then if you have debt, you want to make sure that you attend to the debt before you even invest in anything. You don't have any business in investing if you have high interest debt, right? Because whenever I say debt, always know that I'm talking about high interest debt. Any debt above, or what are high interest debt? Any debt above 10%. So your mortgage does not count here, right? Mortgage does not count here. Auto loan may not count here depending on the interest. So all those pool loans, all of those kind of payday loans, all those high interest loans, you want to make sure you take care of it. You do not go and invest until you have taken care of those high interest debt and emergency funds, right? That's when you can start saying you want to invest. Asma, welcome and thank you for subscribing. And everyone that is just joining, we're talking about how to build wealth the right order. This is the biggest thing people miss, and this is why some people make money and they feel stuck. Hey, Pi212, how are you today? Welcome, welcome. So that's what we're talking about, and it starts with your income. Number 2, emergency fund. Now we are on debt payoff. Any interest, any debt that is above 10%, you want to make sure that you pay it off, right? You want to ensure that you pay it off. Thank you so much for that. All right, so any debt that is above 10%, you want to make sure that you have a structure or strategy or steps to pay it off. So think about it, all of those credit cards, just to give you an idea, because a lot of times people don't know this. Credit cards, credit card, an average credit card, the interest that you pay on it, if you don't pay it within the billing cycle, is between 21 to 32%, right? 21 to 32%, depending on your country. I think in Canada is a little bit lower. So if you have people that, if I have my Canadians here, please correct me. And if you have people from Europe, please correct me as well, or put in the comments what your interest rate is. In the US, it's between, I think it's actually higher. It's what I've seen, 27%. Maybe the credit union a bit lower. But regardless, everything is about 20%. But think about it so you understand why this is very important. And this is like a drain pipe, and a lot of people get it wrong, or they don't even know. Now, think about it. An S&P 500 that everybody knows about, very popular in terms of investing, or like the VTI that people talked about, the entire US market, or the entire 3600 or 3200 stocks that you can actually buy as an ETF. If the all average returns maybe between 8 to S&P 500 return 8 to 12%, right? Nasdaq 100 returns between 18 to 22%. But guess what? Those debts, those credit cards, they are at what? The 25%, 27%, 29%. So it means that, let's assume that you skip this step. So, but you have this high interest that then you go straight to investing because, oh, you are very focused on the return on that investment, right? On that S&P 500. You will get maybe 12%, or because you are very risky, you are not risk averse, you go to Nasdaq 100, right? You get 22%. Guess what? You are going to get investment, right? You get your 22%. Let's even take the highest. But then you have an high interest. Let's say you invested $1,000, right? But you have a loan of $1,000. The interest on the loan that you are paying, the debt, is what? 27%. The interest on this 1,000, the interest on your investment, right, is 22%, right? 22%. That means that you are getting $220, right, on your investment. You invested in S&P 500, $22 is what you got. But on this side, which is your debt, you are paying $270. So you are not just investing, right? You are investing that $220 that you got as return on your investment. After you use it to pay this debt, right? The interest on this debt, remember, you have not even paid the debt itself. The interest on it is 22%. After you pay it, right, you're still going to be paying an additional $50 on top, right? So it just negates, it's a loss to you. Okay, it's a loss to you. So that's why this step is very, very important. And this singular thing might be the reason why you feel stuck financially, because you are servicing a debt, right? Instead of you investing, instead of you servicing, instead of you paying off the debt, you are servicing the debt, and then you are using the return on your investment to service a debt. So it's actually taking money for you, is increasing your expenses without you knowing. So what should you do? Pay off that debt. All right? There are different methods that you can use in paying off debts. There is the snowball method. There is the avalanche method. There is also the what's it called? The consolidation, right? You can use any of those methods. So snowball method, simply look at the one with the least balance, right? You have 3 credit cards or 3 kind of loans. Look at the one with the least balance and pay that one first. Focus on it, pay the minimum on the other ones, and then pay it off. Then once you finish paying off the smallest balance, then you go to the next one, and that's how you pay it off. That is snowball method. This helps you to be motivated. Oh, if I can pay one, it means I can pay two. I can pay everything. That's what it helps you to do. Avalanche method, on the other hand, this one puts the most money in your pocket. You look at the one with the highest interest rate. So if there's one with 32% and there's one with 25%, you focus on the one with the 32% first, right? Because it has the highest interest, because it has the highest loan interest that you are servicing. So that is the first one that you tackle. Yeah, hello Stephanie. That is the first one that you tackle, and you take care of it first before you go straight into investing, right? So before you go straight into before you go to the next one, you pay the minimum balance, right? So that is how you pay it. Then the other one is debt consolidation, where you bring everything under one umbrella, right? Pay a transfer fee, and then you can negotiate the interest rate, and you start paying it off by just one lender. The only thing with the debt consolidation, the only clause there is that you have to be very disciplined, absolutely very disciplined, because if you are not disciplined, what you realize is you are just transferring account, and then you are paying fees on it, and then it's still going to be the same thing. So you have to get yourself disciplined first before you can even do anything, right? Get disciplined. Awesome. So now, once you have taken care of high interest debt, you know that you can think about it. Credit cards, and I'm looking at my notes. Credit cards, high interest loan. You can't build wealth while paying 20% interest, or 27 or 30%. It's even worse than 20%. You can't. Okay? So that is why this particular stage, this particular step is absolutely one of the most important, and emergency absolutely one of the most important. And that's where people actually miss it and get it wrong when it comes to investing or trying to build wealth. Now, once you have your income, you've taken care of it, you're working on increasing your income, you're making everything steady. Once you have that, and then you have your emergency fund taken care of, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, you already have that. Then you have your high interest debt taken care of, right? To the minimum, barest minimum, which is anything below 10%, which will be probably your car note, and probably your car note, and what's the other thing? And your mortgage, right? Those are typically the ones under 10%, right? So once you have that taken care of, then you now have business and investing. But without taking care of those things, you don't have any business. You don't have any business in investing. But guess what? Investing is what helps you build wealth. If Follis, thank you so much for the roses. Yeah, so investing is what helps you build wealth, because income, if you just have your income and you just use it to pay bills, it just means that you are just working to pay bills. But if you take some of your income and you now put it towards investing, that is how you build wealth. And building wealth is that it's not even the goal, it's the freedom that comes with wealth building. All right, now at this point, investing is what now comes, right? That's the next thing, and this is where the wealth is built. From number one, two, three, those ones are just foundation. It's number four, that is when your wealth is being built. Okay, thank you for subscribing, thank you for the follow, thank you all for tapping out the live, sharing the live right there. All right, so now that this is where your money starts to work for you. So first of all, there are three types of investing that I talk about, right? Three types. Number one, I talk about ETFs, right? ETFs, and then number two, I talk about real estate, and three, I talk about investing, about businesses. Reason why I say this is that these three, it's about diversification. You want to ensure that whenever you are investing, always think about spreading your risk. Always think about diversification, because it gives you the opportunity to have interest and returns and grow wealth in different places. And if one falls, you have another one that can hold you, right? Because of course, there's always the risk that comes with investing, right? So the first thing that I always talk about, I'll always start with ETF, right? So think about it. We talked about debt, income first. 2 was emergency fund. 3 was what? 3 was what? Income, emergency fund, debt payoff, and now we're on investing. So under investing, we start with ETF. What does ETF? Why do I always say ETF? ETF would help you with automation. ETFs will help you. It requires little or no capital, easy entry. That's the thing about ETF. You can literally open your account today and of course start investing today. So you want to invest, you can literally do everything today and you can set it. It's very passive. You can set it and it goes, right? You set it up once and that's it. That is it, right? And a lot of time, it just helps you to build consistency. You can double your money under 7 years. The rule of 72, I did not create it. You can go on Google and search it. The rule of 72 says that you double your money every 7 years. Every 7 years. But it can even be lower depending on the investment vehicle that you put in. So here, you probably would have heard about S&P 500, the top 500 company in the United States. You can simply just buy that. It's easy. You are not picking and choosing. You don't need to watch any chart. It has returned between 8 to 12% every single year no, not every single year. It has returned 8 to 12% averagely for the past 30 years. So when they say it's returned 8 to 12% average, it simply means that there are times when it returns 32%, there are times when it returns -4, right? If there are times when it returns 1%, there's a time when it returns 40%. But averagely, okay, because the strategy when it comes to using ETF, the strategy right there is that you are a long-term investor. You're not doing day trading. It's not like you're looking at it. You are doing it, setting it and going. So averagely, because you are there for long-term, which is what I talk about. And my goal is not, I don't teach get rich quick scheme. No, I don't do that. I talk about long-term investing. I talk about generational wealth, okay? Because that is what is sustainable. That's what is sustainable. All right. And I also like my peace. I don't want my stock to go down today. I have high blood pressure and tomorrow it goes up and down and all of that. So I don't do that. And when they asked Warren Buffett, they call him the Lord of Investing. When they asked him, where should you put your money? He said ETF index funds. When you check with multi-millionaires and the billionaires, where do they put their money? They say ETF index fund, right? Right there. So that's why they never said day trading and all of that. So ETFs, so like an S&P 500 return averagely to 8 to 12%. Okay, last year it returned 18% last year. So so it could also go lower, right? It could go lower than 8 to 12%, but averagely, when you keep your money there, you will see the return of 8 to 12%. And with rule of 72, you would double your money, right? So it simply means that if you put $100,000 in 7 years, you would have 200,000. In 14 years, you would have 14 years or less, you would have 400,000, and then in 21 years, you would have 800,000, and in 28 years, you would have $1.6 million. And you're wondering, you did not put anything extra. It is just that 100,000. That is the power of compounding, and that's the beauty of long-term investing that I talk about. Okay, so S&P 500 is one that you can actually put your money, set it, have it, do like the consistency, right? Let it stay in the market. Stop timing the market. The time in the market always win you time in the market. Trying to know when is the best entry versus when you have it and you say that, okay, it's not best entry. I'm just buying consistently, dollar cost averaging, right? So, and then you set automation to leave it for you to do it. So what does that mean? Automation simply means that every single month, they're taking the same amount and you're buying the same thing every single month, like a clockwork. The same way you clock in at work, you are also paying yourself investing, right? That is the other way when it comes for ETFs. ETFs can invest in S&P 500, you can invest in NASDAQ 100, you can invest in REITs, you can invest in dividends, do all of that. And I'll be doing it, having a training on having a smart investing workshop in the next couple of weeks. I'll put the date out there for anyone that is interested. The goal is for everyone that is in there. For you, if you have been looking for ways to start, you can actually register, and then in the class, the goal is for you to open the account, set it up, have the automation set up, and you can leave it and make sure that every single month, right, is making the deduction from your account every single month and is buying it for you, because the key to it is consistency and automation. So investing is number four, and the first part of investing is ETF. What does ETF also help you to do? If it gives you, the confidence that you need, that okay, you can invest and you can get return on your investment, right? Consistency is key. Automation is key. It helps you to drive discipline. It helps you to motivate. It helps to motivate you that, you know what? Yes, if I put 100,000, so for instance, if you had put $10,000 last year, your money would have been almost $12,000 right now as we speak. And that in itself is some form of motivation for you, right? It's a form of motivation for you. And when we're talking about investments, we are on ETF, you also want to ensure that you are taking care of your future, your 401k, right? If your employer is matching anything, take it, match, contribute to the highest, to the whatever your employer is matching. 3%, 6%, that's free money, and you have it invested. Then the other part of it is Roth IRA. Roth IRA grows tax free, unlike 401k, right? 401k, because it's not pre-tax, right? You are not, you basically you're able to invest that way, right? You're able to invest, and the Roth IRA, it goes tax free. So you want to have that. So three, when we're talking about investment with ETF or whatever, those three. So Roth IRA, 401k, those are for your future. And then you have the brokerage that is for your present. Your IU savings account is going to be your emergency account. So if you are wondering what 4 accounts should you open, those are 4 accounts right there. Okay, 4 accounts right there. And then once you have built your 4 accounts, once you have built your ETF, right? You already have your ETF. The next thing for you, and you have started building enough capital, the next thing for you is to start having investment in real estate, right? Real estate is going to make the journey faster for you when it comes to wealth building, right? So building wealth the right order. Number 1 is what? Having your income. Number 2 is you having your emergency fund. Number 3, having making sure that you have high interest debt taken care of. Then number 4 then is the ETF proper, investing proper. ETF and taking care of your 401k, your Roth IRA, and of course making sure that you have the brokerage account, and you're buying simple ETF. Consistency will help you. Automation will help you right there. And then number 5, you now go into real estate. Real estate, I'm very passionate about real estate. Real estate is one asset class that pays you in 5 or 6 even different ways, right? Number one, it pays you as what's it called? As you get cash flow. So you get the tenant's money, you use it to your tenant use it. Then let's assume you buy a house, right? Very popular when you bought a single family or a multi-unit, right? You get the tenant in. The tenant pays you every single month whenever you because you use the bank's money to buy the house. Whenever the tenant pays you, take some of the money and you pay the bank, right? The leverage that you got from the bank, you pay it off. You start paying every single month, and then you have some cash left, right? Let's assume that it's 3,000. Your rent is 3,000 that you got from your tenant, and your mortgage is 2,600. The 400 in between there, it's your cash flow, right? That is cash flow. That's number one. Number two is every single time that you pay 2,600 to the bank, out of the tenants, the rent that you collect from the tenant that you pay the bank, you are reducing your loan with the bank. You are reducing your mortgage with the bank. What does this mean? It means that you are increasing ownership in this in your property. It means that you have more money. Hello, Queen Syria, how are you? We're talking about the exact way to build wealth. If you haven't if you haven't subscribed, consider doing that. We're talking about the exact order to build wealth, right? Exact order to build wealth. So we're on point number 5, real estate. And I will to go back for the people that just joined. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will talk about it shortly. So number 5 is real estate. 1 is cash flow. That's what you get with real estate. Number 2 is what I'm talking about, which is equity. Every single time that you pay mortgage, right, you reduce how much your loan is. Your debt is reducing. And what that basically means that every time your debt every time your debt reduces, it means you are building equity in that property. What does this mean? It means that your loan, let's say the property is 300,000 and your loan in the property is 150. It means that your equity, have equity of 150,000 in that particular property. What I mean, that's basically it. 150,000 is the equity that you have. Who paid for that equity right there? It could be two things: appreciation, or the money that you are paid, that you got from the tenant, that you are using for the debt payoff, right? That you got from the bank. That is how you get equity in a property. Or you could have also gotten equity upfront. If you buy like me, where I would typically buy property at 80% of the value, I would always have 20% upfront equity right there before even going in. So that is it right there. Okay. So equity is the second thing that you get. Then number three is appreciation. Just like rule of 72 with ETFs that I talk about. Rule of 72, you double your value of the property, you double your money every 7 years with ETF or stock, depending on the asset class that you have. But when it comes to real estate, it grows the growth is, if you buy it right, the growth is 10% every single year. So it means that you double your money every 10 years on top of what? Cash flow, equity. Then you also double your money. It means that if the property is 300,000, in 10 years is 600,000. The property that we bought in less than 9 years ago, it's already doubled its first self. So it just means, that's why I know. And you can also go on Google or ChatGPT to confirm whatever I am saying. I always say trust but verify. Okay. All right. So the other thing, appreciation is the other way that you increase your income. Thank you all for tapping out the live. Let's keep tapping on the live. And then the next thing is leverage. Okay, leverage. Guess what? All of this property that we are talking about, whose money are you using? You are using the bank's money. We are using basically the bank's money. That's basically what you're doing. Pi 212 Mayobi, Key to the Sea. Cecilia Sampson, One Savvy. Yeah, let's keep tapping out the light. So it's basically, you're using the bank's money, you're using the tenant's money. Like, you can leverage a lot when it comes to real estate. What does this mean? With 50,000, you can actually almost own a property of $250,000. Close to $250,000, because you require 20% down for a property when it comes to real estate, right? When it comes to investment property. And then if you are just a first-time owner, you can actually buy it and get a property at 3.5% down, right? So with less than $12,000, you can buy a property of $250,000 right there for you. So that is the beauty of leverage, right? That is the leverage that comes with real estate, which you cannot do with ETF. If you want to buy ETF worth of 200,000, you better have the cash of 200,000 in your account for you to be able to buy. But with real estate, there are programs and structures for it. So far you just have the criteria, your income, your credit, and all of and the asset that is there right there. You will be able to access a property, with 50,000. Right? It just means that with 250,000 or even less, you can actually buy a property worth $1 million. Okay, you can have a leverage of $1 million. That's the beauty. Just like businesses as well. That's a beauty of real estate. Another thing is tax strategy, right? And if you have not filed your taxes, today is April 15th. If you're in the United States, if you haven't filed it, you want to make sure you find time to do it. Otherwise, make sure you get an extension so that you do not get into trouble with the IRS. All right, so that is that's that right there. So tax benefit, this is huge, right? And there's no limit to the tax advantages that you can get with real estate. So let me just show. I always talk about this because I'm still filing my taxes. So if you see, this is let me see if I can mirror, because I'm completing this. Let me show. So this is like something that I will get from my tax consultant, right? I'll get something like this, and it would ask, what is the rental property? What is the gross? What's the rent? What is the advertising, auto expenses, travel expenses, cleaning and maintenance commission, insurance, legal, interest, repairs, taxes, utilities, wages, and salary depreciation. See, this is so whenever I say that tax benefit and tax deduction, this just happens to be here. That's it right here. See, I have it right here. These are things that basically it will ask you what is your income document. Then you have your income, and what's your gross rent. Then all of these expenses I just talked about, right? All of this is what you can actually claim. So what is going to have at the end of the day, if let's say the income is 12,000, let's say the property income that I got, or the rental income I got on this property is 20,000. Hey, let's say I got 100,000, right? 20,000 is the income from this property, or 24,000. But then I fixed the house, I advertised it, I have money there. The realtor's fee, I have it there. Travel and expenses, the cleaning, if I had to clean the house, right? Commissions, if there was any commission, insurance, if there was any legal, whatever, maybe I registered an LLC or whatever, right there. Interest, right? All of my interest is right here. Repairs, HVAC or roof collapsed or the house fell. All of that is here. Taxes, the property taxes is here. Utilities. Let's assume, when the house is vacant and when during showing, when I have the utilities on, in between tenants, and I turn on utilities, those expenses, wages and salaries. So if I have people working for me, right, like my son that is working for me, right, I will pay them. This is where their own expenses goes into. Depreciation, all right, the property. Remember, I always say straight line net or reducing balance it right there. See, this is my part of my tax document. I have multiple of them, see, that I'm filling out. So this is for my tax consultant. So if you're tax consultant, if you are not working with a tax consultant that is investor friendly and you are putting money, leaving money on the table, then it's on you. So that, you see this alone can almost give me 100,000 tax break or even more, right? 100,000 or more in tax rate that I end up not paying anything, even as my position as a vice president of technology, right? And also with the income from academia as a professor, right? I would still not have to pay back. I'll have these taxes on this hand, but guess what? With all of these expenses, because in January alone, for some of the properties that we've already like fully paid off, we paid almost over close to like 50,000 in terms of taxes, right? That alone, right? Think about it, just that alone. I'm not even talking about, I've not even calculated depreciation on each house, right? I've not calculated it. I've not calculated advertising. I've not talked about the HVAC. Remember I mentioned that we had to replace two HVAC, two AC units, and each of them was like 7,500, like 15,000. So that in itself alone, that's like 65,000. So let's assume that my W2, I'm supposed to pay Uncle Sam back maybe like 80,000 or 100,000, something of that nature. I'm supposed to pay back. Guess what? These are already in itself just property tax, and I've not even calculated interest. There's HOA, there's all of that. I have not calculated it. So at the end of the whole thing, I am smiling because I know that Uncle Sam is going to pay me back. He's going to pay me back, and that's what differentiates the wealthy and the middle class. The middle class will end up, yes, you are earning 500,000 because you're a medical doctor or whatever. You're earning so much, but guess what? Hey, Gideon, how are you? How was the closing? You need to tell me all about the closing of that house. You need to tell me, right? You need to tell me. I remember, right? I hope I'm not mixing you guys up, but I remember. Yeah, how are you? So that is how you actually reduce. Guess what? That is $70,000, $80,000 that I would have actually paid. That yes, awesome. You need to tell me all how it went. What's it called? How it is with the clothes and all the house, right? Let me know how that went. So that is 80,000 or 7,000 I would have taken as cash and paid, right? But now I'm not paying. It is them paying me back just because I own real estate, right? That I own real estate. Okay, so great. So that's why I always say taxes is the absolutely most amazing part of all of this. Taxes is the most amazing part of it. So it gives you cash flow, leverage, multiple income stream, multiple. That's what you get with real estate. So asset creates additional paycheck, right? Asset pays additional paychecks for you because guess what? Financial freedom is the goal. And that leads us to number 6, financial freedom. So if you are super excited about the real estate, I don't know if anybody was in the training for the real estate. I had the training on real estate this past weekend. So you can still get the training on the bootcamp. You will find the link in my bio. You will find it with the slides and all of that. You will find it right there for those that are interested. I tell you, this is, even if it's just the depreciation, even if it's just the tax benefit that comes with real estate, there's no reason why no one, right? No one. Yes, you will find it in the bio. You'll find it right there in bio, and I can show you where you can find it, right? But then you have to purchase it because it also gives you the access to the closed group. Okay. So, but I'll show you right after. So that is the beauty of real estate, right? I just wanted to. This just came handy. I didn't even, because I'm feeling it right now. It's a lot. It's a lot of work on my. It's a lot on my hand because I have to start feeling what's the HOA, what is all of these expenses. That's why, as part of the training, I always say that keep track. Record keeping is very important so that you are not losing any dollar or whatever. You are making sure when it comes, don't be like me, that it's now time for taxes, that I'm now racking, trying to think, okay, how much is this? How much would we pay in terms of advertising? How much is this? How much is that? So that I can make sure that I get every of my dollar back from IRS, right? Everything that I paid in taxes. Now it's my turn. In January, I paid over $50,000. So now it's my time to get my money back. So thing is, number 6, after you have done your investing, right? Because we're talking about step by step. After you have done your investing, the goal, which the number 6 is the main goal. And what is it? Money is not the goal. The main goal of you building wealth is what? Freedom. Freedom. Because you don't, even if you earn so much, you earn 500,000, you earn $1 million, so far you have to be there. You have to work. If you are not doing the job, if you are not there, you don't get income, right? If you are not there, if your income stops, what that simply means is that you are not free. You're not free. Your life is tight. For you to make money, you have to trade your time or trade your life for that money, right? But the goal is for you to be free, but then still have wealth. Still be able to make money. That is freedom. All right. So the freedom is the goal. And for you to have that freedom, it's only assets, that cash flow, that does that. The cash flow is what comes. Salary will not give you freedom. Salary is you working and getting money, right? Cash flow, it doesn't require you working. It's your money that is working. Then you get cash flow. And then that is, you can be somewhere else. Money is still coming in. You'll still be making even way more money than whatever whatever you are even earning in your paycheck. And I'm absolutely serious about that. You can actually make more money, right? Where your money is working for you. Asset will cover the lifestyle. That lifestyle that you're craving for. Asset will definitely cover it. And you do not depend on any paycheck, right? Literally 30,000 employees were laid off in Oracle. Life stopped at that point for some people because they don't have backup, they don't have anything, right? But when it comes to your own business, when it comes to your own cash flow, except the business stops, right? That's the only time. But it's also a function of the effort that you put into it. Except the house is vacant, except, yes, all those things happen. But to what extent? At what limit? So those are really the things, right? Asset covers lifestyle, no dependency on paycheck, all of those kind of things. Freedom is when your money works more than you do. So, and that's where you want to get into. Just like this, right? It's good. I tell you, look, this one is that you see here is going to be close to by the time I do the calculation, it's probably going to be close to maybe like $70,000. or even more, because I mean that's whenever I remove it, I net it off my whatever income, the property income, by the time I'm done with it. So, and that's what I would use to reduce how much I owe, and then I get some return. This money, if they give me this money back, even if it's 20,000, even if it's whatever, I can use it towards another property, right? Instead of the money, it's instead of an expense, now I have an income coming because I just own real estate. That's why they say I always say that taxes is one of the paycheck. Always say I'm going to be getting my own paycheck now once I finish filing this. And Uncle Sam will say on the other side, let's not fight. Freedom is when your money works for you. All right. So really, I just want to know, out of the step 1 to 5, so the exact order to build wealth, as we wrap up, the exact order to build wealth, for basically six steps. Step number 1 is what? It is basically your income, starting with your income, good income, making sure you look for ways to increase your income, right? Because that is your foundation. Number 2 is for you to have your emergency fund just as a safety net in an IE savings account. Number 3 is for you to have your emergency fund, your debt, making sure high interest debts, any debt above 10% is taken care of. Then number 4 is for you to start investing. Invest in ETF, take care of your Roth IRA, your 401k, and of course take care also of your brokerage, because that is your brokerage is the one that it's for present. That's what you can use to build wealth. That's what you use to build the capital. Then once you build the capital, transition some of the money and you invest in real estate so that you can start having 4, 5, 6 paycheck, have a cash flow, and then you are building real actual asset, right? Then once you have that, once you start having cash flow, you will now gain your freedom. All right, so out of 1 to 6, let me know 1 through 6, based on what I've just said, which of the step are you right now? All right, which of the step are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which of the steps are you right now? Okay, do you have your emergency fund? Do you have your have you paid off your high interest debt? Or let's Mayobi, Keys to the Sea, Mayalistic, Cecilia, right? So, Giodon, and every other person here, and those on YouTube, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Do you already have your emergency fund? Do you have do you have your real estate? Do you have your stocks? Or or you are just even starting life, you don't have your income yet? Just put 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3 to 6, right? 1, 2, 3 to 6. Which one? All right. So really be honest. Did you start investing before fixing your foundation? I know this is the big deal. I use my emergency fund to get a rental for 2. Yeah, that's a good one, but make sure that you start having, you need to start building the emergency fund immediately, right? You cannot allow that as a gap, okay? But congratulations on that. That's a good strategy, because really, yeah, we start building the emergency fund back, right immediately, because you can actually use it in between as well, right? So far you know that you're going to be getting your emergency fund back, so you can. You see, when you are building your capital, I always say that when you are building your capital in ETF and when it's growing, you can, or in not ETF, in your emergency fund, let's say you can actually take some of the money, you built 6 months, you can actually take half of it and just say, okay, you know what, 3 months, especially when your job is solid, 3 months, let me go use it to buy a property right now, and then, had some money to buy the property and then build it back quickly, right? Any money cash flow from that property, make sure you're putting it right back to where you took it. Just the same way people borrow money from their 401k, make sure whenever you borrow it, whatever that cash flow, make sure you are paying it back, right? Make sure you are paying it back, right? That's a good one. Olives. And let's just keep expanding from here. So most people don't fail because they don't work hard. They fail because they follow the wrong order, right? If you just jump and you have high interest debt and you just jump straight into investing, you are losing a lot of money. If you don't have an emergency fund and you just jump straight into investing, what's going to happen to you is what you realize is that a lot of people, you jump straight. In the case of emergency, you will be in debt, and that's just the wrong place to be. Wrong, absolutely the wrong place to be. So yeah, so that's how you build it. That is how you build it. Yes, and Olebs, it's okay to be broke. I get broke. It's okay. You are rich in you see, that's a wealthy mindset. That's the investor mindset. You are wealthy in asset, rich in asset, but you are broke in, you are cash broke. Trust me, this is the story of so many investors, so many wealthy. That's their story. They are cash broke, but they are, they'll say, oh, I have 10 million in asset, but I have less than $10,000 in my account. Their savings account will be less than $5,000, but they might have 10 million in asset, right? So I know the feeling. Don't worry, we are together. Yeah, we are together on that. Especially when you just bought a new house or you just close on a deal, it is always like that. But that's just the way to go. You are making sure your money is working harder than you do, and that's why a lot of times middle class are the ones that leave money in the account. The wealthy, the upper end, the investors, they don't leave money in the account. They're making sure the money is working for them. Like you're using it to buy assets, and then they are building it again to buy the next asset. The only time that you see them have cash is when they are building the capital for the next main project, right? So that's just the way to go, right? Most people fail because most people don't fail because they don't work hard. They fail because they follow the wrong order. Once you fix the order, everything changes. So for those that interested in the real estate training, you would find it on my TikTok right here. Right here, you find it right here. If you click on the link right there next to you, you have it right there. All right, so you see it, and everybody that been coming to my box to ask, so do you do one-on-one? You find it, one-on-one, 1 hour consultation. You would see it right there. One-on-one consultation is for you to ask any questions that you have, real estate, ETF, anything you want us to look at your portfolio. You can, anything you want to ask, or you just want to look at my face, whatever. It is just your time, 1 hour of your time. You can book it right there. You get all of everything, get your clarity section about your finances and all of that. Absolutely very helpful, okay? Because it's going to be specific for you. It's not like something general. So you're in your 60s, you don't know what to do. You're in your 50s, you're in your 40s. It's going to be different for each and every age group. Because if you have children of school age, or your children are getting into school, or you have young kids, they are all different, right? So, and then the other thing is the real estate bootcamp. Buy your first rental property in 90 days. You can also have that. You would have that right there. You should, as a matter of fact, you should. Olebs, you should. I don't know if you were in the training, but even if you were in the training, you should ensure you have that training, because it has all of the different information that you can always reference, right? If you're somebody like me that I like visuals, because it has the presentation, and at the same time, it also has the slides. It has the slides, it also has the video that's going to help you, right? You should get a copy of that, right? It's module 1, 2, 3, 4, so that it doesn't overwhelm you. There's the one that, it's just the buying process, the financing process. There's the one in terms of the rental, right? How to rent, the entire rental process. It's there. All of those things are everything that you need. Financing, buying process, your 90 days plan, all of that, it's there. The slide, the video, and also there is also the access to the closed group. So in the closed group, some of the things that you have access network to other like-minded individuals. Also, you would have people that I plan to also be putting you out. You can ask me any questions right there. Okay. personal questions. You can also, I plan to start putting all those off-market deals. So a lot of time people would always, you probably would have heard me that, okay, I always have at least 20% in equity upfront before I even buy this property. Equity 20%, I always have it. That's because I buy from certain wholesalers, right? And they are nationally, they are within the whole of the United States, except in some few states. So I can always, plan is to start putting deals right there. If I see that this is a good deal, put it right there, and the fastest finger or whoever is ready can grab it right there. So those are things that you would get with the close community, right? And access to, like-minded individuals. If you have questions, so for especially if you're in Texas, or you are in other cities, we can always say, okay, what are the resources available, in terms of contractors, all of those free resources that can help you, right? That's what you find in the community, and it comes with the package, right? Right now it's at 60. It has 40%, 60% discount. By weekend, it's going to go back to the normal price. Okay, so whoever, if anyone that is interested, you can grab it. You should grab it, right? Because there's the limit to what I can say right here. I can't do the training. It is a very, very, very structured training. There's limit to what I can talk here. Very structured, very detailed. You can see some of the reviews that I posted on my page. You would see it. Very detailed, very review, because very structured. The thing is, whenever when it comes to real estate, it could be very technical, right? It could actually go past your head. There's so much that you can learn, right? So it needs to be very structured, and that's exactly like the flow. What are the different strategies? If you are buying internationally, if you are buying locally, what you should watch out for, evictions, all of those kind of things, beginning to end, because I put my whole experiences or my knowledge for investing for in real estate for over a decade. That's what is a decade of experience, not just owning, not just buying, but also managing it. Things that you need to watch out for, like things about, things that even realtors will not see or realtors will not know when it comes to tenants. I've seen things, right? I have seen things with fake documents and all of those kind of things. So those are things that would help you, so that's why when I say ensure, if you're going into real estate or you are into real estate, you are scaling that you should get a copy of that. It costs you not so much, because some people spend less than this. It costs you maybe lunch. Some people $100 in a sitting day. They do a dinner or 120. But now this is investing in yourself. I tell you, it's built me wealth. It's not just ordinary wealth, like double, not just a million, double that, more than that. Like, all right. So if he can build, and I did it all with my 9 to 5, no inheritance, right? So you are learning from somebody with over a decade of experience in real estate investing, and at the same time with double-digit real estate portfolio. So if your goal is to invest in real estate, or you want to build wealth, right, with your 9 to 5, you want to have that knowledge. You should have that knowledge. Okay, right? That is number one, you investing in yourself. So you find the link right there, and like I said, 60% off till this weekend, then it goes to normal price right after. All right, I hope we've learned one or two things, and thank you all for tapping out the live. If anybody has any questions, send me a DM, okay, or send me a message. I'll definitely be able to help you out. And of course, ETF, the Smart Investing Workshop, that is going to happen before the end of the month. I'm just trying to finalize the date, thinking of 2 days as well, such that one day, we use it to know what you're supposed to do, because it's going to be very hands-on. That's why it's a workshop, right? It's not a training, it's not a boot camp, it's not a course. It's a workshop where in that class, by the time you're done, you should be able to set your portfolio ready, right? Set it, let it go, let it slide in your own choice of investment brokerage firm. Set it and let it go, and except that you now go back on your own to say, you know what, now I don't want that deduction anymore. That is the only condition where you would not invest. But if you have been struggling to start investing, that is definitely for you, right? Be on the lookout for the training. It's going to come shortly once we finalize the day. But I should also put the flyers out so people will know that it's coming, but we're just basically finalizing the day, because the reason why I've not finalized the date right now is I'm looking, how do we do it during a weekday where people can actually get help from customer service, if they are trying to open their account and there's some issues or whatever, so that they can quickly call. But what I'm thinking is that we might do it one day during the week, then the other weekend, so people have the opportunity to go open their account. Then the next weekend we set it up fully, right? Because you don't have to, you set it up fully in that training, right? So that's the only reason. So be on the lookout for the training as well. And in this 2026, you have met me. You don't, in short, you must make money, you must build wealth, you must invest, right? You don't have any excuse, because what I'm basically right now is just removing all the barriers. Everything I get in my DM, Dr. Lina, I want to start real estate, but I don't have the knowledge of it. You have the boot camp there, right there. Go and get it. Go and make the purchase. It's on you now. Dr. Lina, I don't know how to. I don't have the down payment. I have it is in the bootcamp training. You would see the different options, the down payment, how you can raise your down payment, wholesale, all of those methods. You would find it right there. Dr. Lina, I don't know how to invest. I want to invest in ETFs. I don't know which one should I buy. I don't know how to set it up. I don't know which brokerage firm. We will be in the room. It's a workshop. We will be in the room. We'll set it up there, and then we'll set it recurring. We'll get it done. Then it's not on you to say that, okay, you know what, I want to go and remove it, because once you set it up once, it would continue like that for as long as you don't stop it. And at least I made an impact in there, right there. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right, so don't forget to get the training. You'll find it right there. Still at discount from now through is it Friday or Saturday? So I'm just saying that just so you can get your real estate journey, wealth building journey started. Okay. All right. Thank you for sticking around with me. And if you haven't followed, now's your time. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And thank you all for tapping out the live. And I will see you later. Ensure your money is working harder than you do. Do not forget to file your taxes if you haven't. And if you haven't filed it, or you will not have the chance to file it, make sure you contact your tax consultant to do an extension for you. All right. I will get to see you guys later. Talk to you. Bye. Ensure your money is working harder than you do. All right. Bye.